As Leonard Lynn Carter sat alone on a faded bench beneath an old oak, his shirt clung to his back. His cane leaned beside him, and a half-eaten sandwich sat untouched in wax paper. In his hands rested a worn copy of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. The page is familiar, yet always revealing something new. Footsteps, laughter. 3 teenage boys drifted into view, loud, confident, and unaware of their own privilege. Brad Holston led the pack, his father a powerful developer in Pinebrook. Mason Richards followed, smug in his mother's school board clout. Trailing behind, quieter and unsure, was Cody Wilson the tag-along. Brad pulled out his phone, grinning. Ladies and gents of TikTok, we found a live specimen of senior wildlife. Observe the government-funded bookworm. Mason howled. Look at that sandwich. Guess that's where our tax dollars are going. Snack time for Grandpa. Linon flinched. He turned the page slowly, his fingers steady, eyes unreadable. In his courtroom days, he'd once stared down white supremacists and gangsters alike. These boys, they were just noise. Hey, old man. Brad stepped closer. Share some wisdom for the internet. You know, educate the masses. Maybe we should leave, Cody mumbled. Shut up, Mason hissed, elbowing him. This is gold. The boys fanned out, phones angled like weapons. Their shadows crept across Len's page. Brad's voice sincere cut the silence. What's it like freeloading off society? But it's nice, son. Sandwich is no job. Len's hands rested on the book. His gaze stayed fixed. Dignity, he learned, was best preserved in stillness. Brad leaned closer, lowering his voice mockingly. He's ignoring us. Probably too busy counting Social Security checks. We're dreaming about picking cotton. Mason snorted. Old school labor, right? Len's shifted slightly. The birds still chirped. The sun still shone, but the air thickened. Dance for us, Grandpa. Brad jeered. You TikTok famous yet, guys? Cody said, voice strained. This isn't right. Brad snapped. It's just a joke. Chill. He took a new angle with the camera. Sir, we're doing a project on local history. Can you help? Len finally looked up. His stare was calm, but sharp. I've lived through more history than you'll ever read. Mason grinned. Perfect. Now say something with that southern draw. Make it authentic. Brad tossed the soda can. It bounced under the bench. Mason added chips to the scene. Props, man. Got to make it real. Still, Lynn didn't rise. His silence was louder than their taunts. Frustrated, Mason kicked the cane. It clattered to the pavement. Oops, he said. Guess you're stuck. Lynn set the book aside. Slowly, he began to rise. His knees wobbled without support. Brad blocked him. Where you going, Star? We're not done. Let me pass, Lynn said quietly. Or what? Brad mocked. Going to lecture us? You don't scare anyone, Grandpa. Lynn's eyes, sharp despite age, narrowed. You're making a grave mistake. Brad shoved him. The fall was sudden and brutal. Lynn crumpled, hips smashing the concrete. His glasses slid from his face. Pain jolted through him like lightning. That Mason's laughter turned manic. Got all. Replay that hit. Brad grinned. Phone still rolling. Going viral tonight. Lynn gasped, struggling to sit up. Above him, the boys loomed, laughing, recording, mocking. But Cody didn't laugh. He knelt beside Len, brushing the cane toward him. Sir, are you all right? Leave him. Brad barked. He's fine. Just being dramatic. Cody didn't move. He stared at Len's eyes, calm, piercing, judging. I know who you are, Cody whispered. You used to be Judge Carter, right? Len said nothing, but the silence confirmed it. Cody stood up slowly, turning to Brad and Mason. You morons just assaulted a federal judge. Brad blinked. No way. He's just some bum. He put away murderers. Cody said he ruled in civil rights cases. My uncle talks about him. Called him the Iron Bench. Mason scoffed. So what? He's not anymore. He's still respected. Cody snapped. And you just filmed yourselves knocking him down? Think your parents are going to cover that up? The phones lowered. The bravado cracked. Let's bounce. Mason muttered, glancing nervously at Len. Brad hesitated. We delete the video. We're fine. Len's voice came soft but clear. You could delete the footage, but the judgment, it's already passed. Cody helped Len sit upright. I'm calling someone, he said, pulling out his phone. My uncle's with the sheriff's office. Brad paled. Wait, Cody, don't. Lynn looked up at Brad. The law may take its time, but it always arrives. Sirens weren't yet heard, but tensions surged like a rising storm. And as Lynn gripped his cane and rose once more, the boys realized this wasn't content. This was consequence. 3 weeks after the video went viral, Pinebrook was no longer the same quiet southern town. Leonard Carter, once forgotten in retirement, had become a national symbol. But he didn't care about fame, only about truth. The morning after his courthouse speech, the mayor requested a private meeting. Len refused. "I'll speak where everyone can hear," he said. By noon, he stood again before the press. "I was attacked," Len said. "But this isn't just about me. It's about what our silence has allowed to fester." His voice, though weathered by age, carried strength. There are names you don't know. Students expelled without cause. Families denied loans. Workers overlooked because of their last name or skin. Behind him stood Cody Wilson, nervously clutching his testimony. "I was there," Cody said into the mic. "I didn't stop it. I was scared, but I know now." Silence helps the wrong side. The town listened. Lynn's legal team, led by Angela Carter, filed a sweeping civil suit. Defamation, assault, hate crime enhancements, and systemic negligence. It named Brad Holston, Mason Richards, and Cody's family. Though Cody was listed as a cooperating witness, the evidence was damning. Not just a viral video, but decades of buried discrimination surfaced. Documents, testimonies, even recordings of school board members joking about segregation. Within days, state officials launched a civil rights investigation. 3 Pinebrook officials resigned. The district attorney opened a criminal inquiry. Suddenly, people who once ignored Len were calling him judge again. Meanwhile, Brad's family lawyered up. His father, Harold Holston, issued a public statement. "Boys make mistakes. Let's not destroy their lives." Len's simply responded, "They try to destroy mine." In court, Angela was relentless. "This isn't a viral prank," she told the jury. "This was targeted, racially charged harassment of a man who helped build the justice system they try to mock." Len took the stand last. "I forgave them," he said. "But forgiveness is not the same as forgetting, and justice does not retire." He paused. "My father died before immigration reached his neighborhood. He told me, 'Son, don't just open doors, hold them open.' That's what I tried to do as a judge. That's what I'm doing now." The courtroom fell silent. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Then came the verdict. $5 million awarded to the newly founded Carter Fellowship for Equal Justice. Full expulsion of Brad and Mason from school district. Mandatory diversity reform across Pinebrook institutions. A recommendation for federal prosecution of hate crimes. Outside the courthouse, Len emerged to cheers. Brad, pale and wordless, was escorted out by his attorney. His Stanford acceptance rescinded 2 days later. Mason's parents withdrew him from public view entirely. Cody, though punished, became involved in community reconciliation efforts and worked closely with Len. Weeks passed. Len rebuilt his shed. This time it became a place of purpose. Every Saturday, neighborhood teens gathered there for his civil rights workshop. They called it Justice School. One day, a girl in the back raised her hand. "Why didn't you hit back?" she asked. Len smiled. "Because the most powerful thing I ever held wasn't a fist. It was a gavel. Justice hits harder when it stands tall." The Carter Fellowship grew. Law students across Georgia applied, eager to continue Len's mission. Angela took leave from her firm to lead at full dash time. To the high school, a mural replaced a vandalized wall. It showed Len in his robe, hand extended to a young student of color. Above it read, "Truth doesn't expire." One afternoon, a hesitant knock sounded at Len's door. It was Brad. That he looked thinner, quieter, broken down. "I know I don't deserve your time," he said, "but I wanted to say I'm sorry, not for the cameras. For real. I was raised to think certain things, and I didn't question them. But now I can't stop questioning." Len studied him. Then he opened the door wider. "I don't teach to punish. I teach so people learn." Brad joined the next Justice School meeting. Not everyone welcomed him, but Len made space. Later that year, Len stood at the community center's dedication ceremony. Pinebrook had changed slowly, painfully but undeniably. There were new school board members, better policies, and more conversations that he stepped to the podium one final time. Justice isn't a destination, he said. It's a path. And sometimes it takes a painful fall for a town to rise again. The crowd stood in applause. And in that moment, the man they once mocked stood taller than ever. Not just as a judge, but as a builder of something great.